The Sterling Hotel glittered like a chandelier made of money. Olivia Bennett moved through the crowd of designer gowns and tailored tuxedos, her $17 bank account feeling like a weight in her pocket. Her borrowed serving dress clung to her damp skin as she balanced a tray of champagne flutes worth more than her rent. She saw him across the ballroom. Dark hair, sharper jaw, eyes that looked somewhere between bored and lost. He stood alone despite the crowd pressing around him, staring at the windows like he wanted to throw himself through them. Olivia found herself staring. Something about his loneliness felt familiar. Then someone shoved her from behind. The world tilted. 12 champagne flutes launched into the air in a perfect, terrible arc. They hung there for one impossible second before physics took over. The champagne hit him like a tidal wave. The string quartet died mid-note. 200 people turned to stare. The man stood frozen, champagne dripping from his hair, his face, his tuxedo that probably cost more than her car had. Olivia's brain screamed run. Her mouth had other plans. I guess someone's winning the wet tuxedo contest tonight. Gasps rippled through the crowd. She grabbed a napkin and approached him with exaggerated concern. Sir, I'm terribly sorry. I've been practicing my champagne fountain routine, but apparently I need more rehearsal. He blinked champagne out of his eyes and looked at her. Really looked. Something flickered in his expression between shock and amusement. Though in my defense, Olivia continued, you were standing in the splash zone. Should be marked on the floor. I'll talk to management. Someone laughed. Olivia turned to her audience. Ladies and gentlemen, this is why they tell you not to hire entertainment from Craigslist. Though I have to say, this gentleman is taking it remarkably well. More laughter. The wave was building. What would I wish for? His voice cut through the noise, deep and warm and curious in a way that made her forget the disaster. A towel probably. Maybe a new tuxedo. Possibly a different server. He smiled then. It transformed his entire face. The entertainment is definitely a bonus. I'm Olivia, she said, extending her champagne-soaked hand. Professional disaster, part-time comedian, full-time walking catastrophe. He took her hand. Julian Westbrook. Professional technology investor, part-time champagne model apparently. The name hit her like ice water. Julian Westbrook. Billionaire tech mogul. Forbes cover. Time magazine's future of innovation. She had just baptized one of the richest men in America in French champagne. Oh God, she breathed. You're that Julian Westbrook. Is there another one? I'm so fired. I'm beyond fired. I'm banned from serving in Manhattan. Possibly the entire eastern seaboard. His eyes held hers with an intensity that made her forget the hundreds of people watching. Or you could finish your routine. You had the room's attention. Seems a shame to waste it. You want me to keep going? I want to see if you're as funny as you think you are. It was a challenge. A dare in the shape of a smile. Olivia had never backed down from a dare in her life. She turned to the crowd and launched into 10 minutes of improvised brilliance about the chasm between their worlds, about subway rats and expired cereal versus vacation homes and stock portfolios. Julian watched from the side, toweling his hair but never taking his eyes off her. When she finished, the applause was genuine. Warm. Real. Julian appeared beside her as the crowd dispersed. That was extraordinary. That was career suicide. That was brave. He paused, something vulnerable crossing his face. I haven't laughed like that in 2 years. The confession hung between them, raw and unexpected. 2 years is a long time, Olivia said softly. My fiancé died. The words came out flat, practiced, like he'd said them too many times. Car accident. Everyone tells me I should be over it by now. Olivia's chest tightened. Grief doesn't have an expiration date. He looked at her like she'd said something revolutionary. Have dinner with me, he said suddenly. Tomorrow night. Is this pity? Because I'm poor and just destroyed your tuxedo? This is curiosity. You made me feel something other than numb. That's rare. Olivia should have said no. Should have recognized the danger in his eyes, the way her heart was already leaning toward him like a plant toward light. Instead, she said, "Okay." He smiled. Then he leaned close, his breath warm against her ear. "Fair warning, Olivia. I'm not a good man anymore. I haven't been since she died. If you come tomorrow, you should know what you're walking into." Before she could respond, he pressed a business card into her palm and disappeared into the crowd. Olivia looked down at the card. Below his name and number, he'd written in black ink. Rosewood Restaurant. 8 p.m. Come honest or don't come at all. Her hand was shaking. The Rosewood Restaurant cost more per plate than Olivia made in a week. Crystal glasses caught the candlelight. Every table held people who looked like they'd never worried about rent. Julian sat by the window in a black shirt that made his eyes look darker. He stood when she arrived, and something in his posture reminded her of a man bracing for impact. "You came," he said. "You doubted me? Everyone doubts everyone in my world." They sat. The silence stretched taut between them. "So," Olivia said, "do billionaires do small talk or do we skip straight to the existential crisis?" His laugh was surprised, genuine. "I forgot how to do small talk 2 years ago. My therapist says it's a problem." "Your therapist is probably right. She also says I use work to avoid processing grief. And that I've built walls so high even I can't see over them anymore." Sounds like a good therapist. She is. I still don't listen to her. Julian's fingers traced the rim of his wine glass. "Tell me something true, Olivia. Something you've never told anyone." The request caught her off guard. His eyes were serious, searching. "I'm terrified," she said slowly, "that I'll never be more than a broke comedian serving champagne at parties for people who don't see me. That I'll wake up at 40 and realize I wasted my life chasing a dream that was never going to happen. That's honest." "Your turn." Julian was quiet for a long moment. "I'm terrified that I died with her. That everything I do now is just muscle memory. Going through motions in a life I no longer feel connected to." The confession settled between them like broken glass. "That's the most honest thing anyone said to me in years," Olivia whispered. "Then we're even." They talked for 3 hours. The restaurant emptied around them. Julian told her about Elena, his fiancée, how she'd believed in his dreams when he had nothing. How her death had turned his success into ashes in his mouth. Olivia told him about her father walking out, her mother's slow descent into pills and blame, how comedy became her armor against a world that kept taking shots. "We're both running," Julian said as they stood outside the restaurant. The city lights reflected in his eyes. "You run toward laughter. I run toward numbness. Maybe we could try standing still for a while." He stepped closer. The air between them crackled with something dangerous. "I want to kiss you," he said. "But I need you to understand something first. I'm damaged goods, Olivia. I haven't been whole since the accident. If this becomes something, I will hurt you. Not on purpose, but I will." "Then don't." "Don't what?" "Don't make it something." Her heart was racing. "Let it be what it is. Two broken people finding each other in the wreckage." He kissed her then. Slow and desperate and full of 2 years of not feeling anything. Olivia kissed him back and tasted grief and hunger and something that felt like drowning and rescue all at once. When they broke apart, his forehead rested against hers. "Come home with me," he breathed. She should have said no. Should have seen the warning signs flashing like neon in the dark. But she was tired of being careful, tired of playing it safe in a life that had never been safe. Okay. His penthouse was all glass and steel and empty spaces. Expensive art that looked cold. Furniture that had never been truly lived in. But his bedroom was different. Photos everywhere. Elena's laugh frozen in silver frames. Her clothes still in the closet. A shrine to a ghost. Olivia froze in the doorway. You still love her. I'll always love her. Julian's voice was raw. But she's dead and you're here and I'm so tired of being alone. That's not fair to either of us. I know. He crossed to her, cupped her face in his hands. I know it's not fair. I know I'm selfish. But I need this. I need you. Even if it's just for tonight. She should have left. Instead, she kissed him. They fell into bed like people drowning, reaching for anything solid. His touch was reverent and desperate. She felt like absolution and betrayal all at once. When it was over, they lay tangled together, breathing hard. Stay, he whispered against her hair. Julian. Please. She stayed. In the morning, she woke to find him gone. A note on the pillow in sharp handwriting. Had to handle something urgent. Make yourself at home. Driver will take you wherever you need to go. Last night meant something. I don't know what yet, but something. J. Olivia dressed and walked through the too empty apartment. In his study, his laptop sat open. She shouldn't have looked. She knew she shouldn't. But the screen showed an email thread with a name that made her blood freeze. Elena Hartley. Dated 3 days ago. Olivia scrolled with shaking hands. The messages were recent. Ongoing. Filled with inside jokes and misuse and plans to meet. The room tilted. Elena wasn't dead. She was alive. And Julian was still talking to her. The front door opened. Julian stopped when he saw her standing at his laptop, the truth written across her face. Olivia. She's alive. Her voice didn't sound like her own. Your dead fiancé is alive. It's not what you think. Then what is it, Julian? Because it looks like you've been lying to everyone. To me. His jaw tightened. Something cold slid behind his eyes. You weren't supposed to see that. Clearly. What the hell is going on? It's complicated. Then uncomplicate it. He stared at her for a long moment. When he spoke, his voice was different. Harder. Elena faked her death. With my help. She needed to disappear. People were after her. Dangerous people. I helped her start over. Why lie about it? Why the grief act? Because her enemies needed to believe she was dead. Because I needed them to believe I was destroyed by it. His hands clenched into fists. And because some part of me did die with her that day. That part wasn't a lie. So what was last night? Research? A distraction? Last night was real. Don't. Olivia backed toward the door. Don't you dare tell me it was real when you've been lying about everything. Olivia, wait. Why? So you can lie to me some more. She ran. Olivia didn't answer Julian's calls. 37 missed calls in 2 days. 17 voicemails she deleted without listening. She threw herself into comedy shows, into her diner shifts, into anything that kept her from thinking about his hands on her skin or the look in his eyes when he'd said it was real. On the 3rd day, Elena Hartley walked into Rosie's diner. She was beautiful. Elegant. Everything Olivia wasn't. Dark hair pulled back, designer sunglasses, the kind of grace that came from old money and private schools. She slid into a booth and waited. Olivia's hands shook as she poured coffee. "You're Olivia," Elena said. "Not a question. And you're dead." "Apparently not well enough." Elena smiled. It was sad and knowing. "Can we talk? Please?" "What could you possibly have to say to me?" "The truth." Since Julian clearly botched that. Against her better judgment, Olivia sat. "I didn't fake my death to hurt anyone," Elena began. "I witnessed a murder. Testified against a man with connections to organized crime. The prosecutor said I needed to disappear or they'd kill me. Julian helped me. He gave up everything to protect me. He lied to the world. He sacrificed his reputation to save my life." Elena's eyes were fierce. "Do you know what it costs him? Every day people look at him with pity. Every interview where they ask about his dead fiancée and he has to maintain the lie. He did that for me. Why are you telling me this?" "Because he's in love with you." The words hit like a punch. "No, he's not. He barely knows me. I've known Julian for 15 years. I've never seen him look at anyone the way he looks at you. Not even me." Elena leaned forward. "The night you met, he called me. Said he felt alive for the first time since I disappeared. That you made him laugh. Made him feel human again." Olivia's throat tightened. "If you're here to give us your blessing, you're wasting your time. He lied. He protected me. There's a difference." "Not to me." Elena was quiet for a moment. 3 days ago, the man I testified against got out on a technicality. His people found my safe house. Julian's been handling it. That's where he was when you found those emails." Cold fear flooded Olivia's veins. "Is he in danger?" "We both are. Which is why I'm leaving the country tonight. New identity. New life. The one I should have taken 2 years ago." Elena's voice cracked. "But Julian won't come with me. He says he's done running. Done hiding. He'd rather face them than keep living the lie. That's suicide. That's love." Elena stood. "He's choosing to stay for you, Olivia. Even if you never forgive him. Even if you walk away. He's choosing the chance of something real with you over safety with me." "Why would he do that?" "Because you gave him something I never could. Hope that there's life after survival." Elena pressed a card into Olivia's hand. "This is where he'll be tonight. Alone. Waiting for the people who want me dead. If you care about him at all, convince him to leave." Then she was gone. Olivia stared at the address. An abandoned warehouse in Brooklyn. The kind of place people went to die in movies. She should walk away. Should let Julian face the consequences of his choices. But her hands were already grabbing her coat, her feet already moving toward the subway. The warehouse was dark. Rain hammered the metal roof. Olivia found Julian standing in the center of the empty space, backlit by a single hanging bulb. He looked like a man who'd given up. "You shouldn't be here," he said without turning around. "Elena told me everything. Then you know I lied to protect her. That I'd do it again. I know you're about to get yourself killed because you're too stubborn to run." He finally looked at her. His eyes were hollow. "They're coming, Olivia. In about 20 minutes, men with guns are going to walk through that door. If I'm not here, they'll hunt Elena. They'll hurt people I care about. This ends tonight. By you dying? If that's what it takes." Olivia crossed to him. "You arrogant, self-destructive idiot. You think martyrdom makes you noble? It just makes you dead. Better me than her. Better me than you. I don't accept that. You don't get a vote. The hell I don't." Her voice cracked. You don't get to make me care about you and then throw your life away. That's not fair. Nothing about this is fair. Julian cupped her face, his touch gentle despite everything. I'm sorry I lied. Sorry I dragged you into this. Sorry that meeting you made me want to live again when I've spent 2 years wishing I hadn't. Then live. Run. We'll disappear together. They'll never stop hunting us. Then we keep running. That's not a life. It's better than no life at all. He kissed her then. Desperate and goodbye and full of everything unsaid. Olivia kissed him back and tasted salt and rain and endings. Headlights cut through the darkness outside. The sound of car doors slamming. Voices. Footsteps on gravel. Julian pushed her behind him. Stay back. I'm not leaving you. Olivia, please. The warehouse door burst open. 6 men. Professional. Armed. They fanned out in practiced formation. The leader stepped forward. Cold eyes. Expensive suit. Gun pointed steady at Julian's chest. Mr. Westbrook. We've been looking for Ms. Hartley. Where is she? Gone. Left the country. You'll never find her. The man smiled. It was terrifying. Then I guess we don't need you alive anymore. Wait. Olivia stepped out from behind Julian. Her voice steady despite the terror. I know where she is. Julian's eyes went wide with horror. Olivia, no. I can take you to her. But only if you let him go. The leader studied her. Why would you betray her? Because I don't want to die. And neither does he. Elena means nothing to me. Olivia met Julian's gaze, praying he'd see the lie, the plan forming in her desperate mind. I'll trade her location for our safety. Olivia, don't do this, Julian said. But there was something in his eyes. Understanding. Trust. Done, the leader said. But if you're lying, you both die. Where is she? Olivia gave them an address. A place she'd seen on Elena's card. The opposite direction from the airport. How do we know you're telling the truth? You don't. But you won't find her without me. She trusts me. She'll open the door if I'm there. The leader considered this. Nodded. You come with us. He stays. If the information is good, we let you both live. No, Julian said. I go with her. You don't negotiate. The gun pressed against his forehead. She comes. You wait. We'll call if we need to kill you. 2 men grabbed Olivia. Julian lunged forward. They hit him with the gun. He dropped. Julian. Olivia screamed. He'll live. If you cooperate. They dragged her toward the door. The last thing she saw was Julian on the ground, blood streaming from his temple, reaching for her. Then they threw her in the car and the warehouse disappeared into darkness. The car smelled like leather and gunpowder. Olivia's hands were zip-tied behind her back. The address she'd given them was a safe house Julian had mentioned in one of his emails to Elena. Empty. Abandoned. Bought to be a decoy. She had maybe 20 minutes before they realized she'd lied. 20 minutes to figure out how to save them both. You're shaking, the leader said from the front seat. People with guns tend to make me nervous. Smart girl. What's your relationship to Westbrook? Wrong place, wrong time. I'm a waitress who spilled champagne on the wrong billionaire. And he trusted you with Hartley's location? He didn't. I went through his phone while he was bleeding on the warehouse floor. The lie came easily. Comedy had taught her to think on her feet. I don't owe him anything. I definitely don't owe her. I just want to live. The man studied her in the rearview mirror. She held his gaze. Prayed her terror looked like greed. "You're either very smart or very stupid," he said finally. "Both. Mostly stupid. It's kind of my thing." They pulled up to a brownstone in Queens. Dark windows. No movement. The men spread out with military precision. The leader kept his gun on Olivia as they approached the door. "Knock. Tell her it's you. No tricks." Olivia knocked. "Elena?" "It's Olivia. I need to talk to you." "It's about Julian." Silence. "She's not here," one of the men said. The leader's gun swung toward Olivia's head. "You lied." "Wait." Olivia's mind raced. She's paranoid. She won't answer unless she knows it's safe. Let me go in alone. Give her a message only I would know. What message? The champagne incident. Julian told her about it. She laughed. Said it was the most romantic disaster she'd ever heard. Another lie. But it sounded true. Let me go in. Give me 2 minutes. If I don't come back out, you can shoot me then. The leader considered this. Nodded to one of his men. They cut her zip ties and shoved her toward the door. 2 minutes. Then we come in shooting. The door was unlocked. Olivia slipped inside. The brownstone was empty except for old furniture covered in sheets. She had maybe 90 seconds to find another exit. Kitchen. Back door. Locked. Window above the sink. Too small. Basement access behind a closet door. She grabbed a chair, wedged it under the front door handle. Bought herself maybe 30 more seconds. Down the basement stairs. Dark. Smelled like mold and old concrete. Small window near the ceiling. Olivia shoved a storage box underneath it, climbed up. The window was painted shut. Footsteps above her. Shouting. The chair splintering. She grabbed a rusted pipe from the corner and smashed the window. Glass rained down. She hauled herself up, felt hands grab her legs. Kicked hard. Connected with something that crunched. Pulled herself through the window as gunfire exploded behind her. The alley was dark. Rain still falling. Olivia ran. Her lungs burned. Her ankle screamed where she'd twisted it on the landing. Behind her, men poured out of the brownstone. Shouting. More gunshots. She ducked behind a dumpster. Pulled out her phone with shaking hands. One call. That's all she had time for. Julian answered on the first ring. Olivia, where are you? Queens. Abandoned brownstone. They know I lied. Her voice cracked. Julian, I'm sorry. I thought I could buy us time. Stay there. I'm coming. No. They'll kill you. Call the police. Get yourself safe. I'm not leaving you. You have to. Elena's testimony. The evidence. It's all on your phone. If you die, they win. She disappears for nothing. Olivia. Someone has to survive this. Tears streamed down her face. Let it be you. Please. More footsteps. Closer. Flashlight beams cutting through the rain. I found something, she said quickly. In Elena's emails. A name. Marcus Volkov. He's the one who wants her dead. But there's more. Bank accounts. Offshore holdings. Proof of everything. It's all in your cloud storage. Password is her birthday backwards. How did you? I went through your laptop before I ran. I'm sorry. But Julian, you have enough to bury him. Get it to the FBI. End this. Not without you. You don't get a choice. She saw shadows rounding the corner. 5 seconds. Maybe less. I need you to know something. Last night. This morning. All of it. It was real for me too. Olivia, don't. And I'm not sorry I met you. Even like this. Even now. She stood. Let them see her. I love you, Julian Westbrook. That's the truest thing I've ever said. No. No, don't do this. The men spotted her. Raised their weapons. Live, she whispered. That's all I want. Just live. She threw the phone as far as she could into the darkness. Heard it clatter against concrete. Then she ran straight at them. Screaming. Creating chaos. Drawing their fire away from where the phone had landed. The first bullet hit her shoulder. She went down hard. Tasted concrete and copper. The world tilted sideways. Above her, the leader stood pointing his gun at her head. Where's the phone? Gone. Destroyed. You'll never find it. Then you're useless. Sirens wailed in the distance. Someone had heard the gunfire. Called 911. The men looked at each other. Calculation in their eyes. We're out of time, one of them said. Cops are coming. The leader kept his gun trained on Olivia. This isn't over. Yeah, she breathed, her vision graying at the edges. It really is. They ran. Left her bleeding in the alley as red and blue lights painted the walls. Olivia stared up at the rain falling into her eyes. It felt like crying. Or baptism. Or both. Julian's voice echoed in her memory. I haven't felt alive in 2 years. She smiled. At least she'd given him that. One last gift. The chance to feel something real before the end. Footsteps running toward her. Strong hands checking her pulse. A voice she knew. I've got you. Stay with me. Please stay with me. Julian's face swam into view. Wet with rain or tears or both. She tried to speak but the words wouldn't come. You're not dying on me, he said fiercely. You don't get to tell me you love me and then leave. That's not how this works. Got the phone? She managed. I got it. And I called the FBI. Volkov's empire ends tonight. Because of you. Because you saved everything. Good. Her eyes fluttered closed. That's good. No. Open your eyes. Look at me. Olivia, look at me. She tried. God, she tried. But the darkness was patient. It had been waiting all along. The last thing she heard was Julian's voice breaking on her name. White ceiling. Antiseptic smell. Machines beeping steady rhythm. Olivia opened her eyes to fluorescent lights and the weight of someone's hand wrapped around hers. Julian sat beside her hospital bed. He looked like he hadn't slept in days. Eyes bloodshot. Stubble dark across his jaw. Still beautiful. Still here. You're awake, he breathed. Relief cracked his voice wide open. Disappointed? Don't. His grip tightened. Don't joke. Not about this. You died twice on the operating table. Your heart stopped and I couldn't breathe, and if you make a joke right now, I swear to God. How long? 4 days. They kept you sedated while your shoulder healed. The bullet missed your lung by 2 inches. Olivia looked at their joined hands. His thumb traced circles on her wrist. Counting her pulse like proof she was real. Volkov? Arrested. 18 counts. Racketeering. Murder. Conspiracy. Your phone had everything. The FBI moved fast. His entire operation collapsed in 48 hours. Julian's jaw tightened. Elena's free. Really free. She can come home now if she wants. Because I almost died. Because you were brave. Stupid and reckless and brave. He stood, paced to the window. Rain streaked the glass. I should have protected you better. Should have kept you away from all of this. I chose to be there. You chose because I gave you impossible options. Stay safe and let me die. Or risk everything to save someone you barely knew. He turned back to her. Pain raw in his eyes. Why would you do that? Why would you throw yourself between me and those guns? You know why. Say it again. I need to hear it when you're not bleeding out in an alley. I love you. The words felt different in daylight. Heavier. More true. I know it's insane. We've known each other less than a week. But I love you anyway. Julian crossed back to her. Knelt beside the bed. Pressed his forehead to her uninjured shoulder. I don't deserve you. Probably not. I'm still broken. Still grieving. Still figuring out how to be human again. I'm still broke. Still terrified I'll never make it. Still turning disasters into punchlines because I don't know how else to cope. He laughed. It sounded like breaking and healing all at once. We're a mess. The worst. I'm in love with you, Olivia Bennett. He lifted his head. Met her eyes. I didn't think I'd ever say those words again. Didn't think I was capable. But you walked into my life covered in champagne and terrible jokes and somehow made me remember what it feels like to want tomorrow. That's the morphine talking. It's the truth talking. He kissed her knuckles. When I thought I'd lost you, when they told me you might not wake up, I realized something. Elena was my past. Important. Loved. Always part of me. But you're my present. My future. The reason I want to keep breathing. Tears burned Olivia's eyes. That's a lot of pressure for a waitress comedian. Good thing you're good under pressure. The door opened. A woman in her 40s entered. Professional. Kind eyes. She stopped when she saw them. I can come back. No. Julian stood. Elena, come in. You should meet her properly. Elena approached the bed. Studied Olivia with the careful attention of someone who understood debts. You saved my life, she said simply. Twice over. Once by giving them false information. Once by giving Julian the evidence to end Volkov. I didn't do it for you. I know. You did it for him. Which somehow makes it mean more. Elena's smile was sad. He deserves someone who'd burn the world down to keep him safe. I used to be that person. But you are now. I'm not trying to replace you. You're not. You're writing a different story. Elena looked at Julian. I'm leaving tomorrow. Moving to London. Fresh start. Real fresh start this time. You don't have to go, Julian said. I do. You two need space to figure out what this is. And I need to figure out who I am when I'm not running. She squeezed Olivia's hand. Thank you. For everything. Then she was gone. Silence settled between them. Julian sat back down. His hand found hers again. What happens now? Olivia asked. Now you heal. Then physical therapy. Then we figure it out one day at a time. I still have $17 in my checking account. Well, probably negative 300 by now. Hospital bills. Covered. All of it. Julian. Don't argue. You nearly died because of me. The least I can do is make sure you're not bankrupted by it. I don't want your charity. Good. Because I'm not offering charity. I'm offering partnership. He leaned forward. Move in with me. Not because you need the money. Because I need you. Because coming home to an empty apartment makes me want to stop coming home. Because you make me laugh. Make me feel. Make me want to be better than the ghost I've been for 2 years. That's insane. Probably. We barely know each other. Then let's fix that. We have time now. All the time in the world. His eyes held hers. I'm not asking you to have all the answers. I'm asking you to take a chance on something messy and complicated and real. Olivia thought about her tiny studio. Her 3 jobs. Her mountain of debt. Her dream that never seemed to get closer. Then she thought about Julian's hand in hers. The way he looked at her like she was oxygen. The possibility of building something new from the wreckage of everything that came before. Okay, she said. Okay. Okay. But I have conditions. I pay my way. I'm not your charity case or your kept woman. I keep performing. Keep chasing the dream even if it's stupid. And you go back to therapy. Deal with Elena properly. Figure out how to carry grief without letting it carry you. Julian's smile was the most beautiful thing she'd ever seen. Deal. He kissed her then. Soft and careful and full of promise. Olivia kissed him back and tasted coffee and hope and the terrifying possibility of happiness. 6 months later, Olivia stood on stage at the Comedy Cellar. The real Comedy Cellar. Not some underground dive. The actual legendary room where careers were born. Her heart hammered. Her hands sweated. 300 people stared at her expectantly. In the front row, Julian watched. He'd been there every night of her amateur shows. Every open mic. Every time she'd bombed or killed or somewhere in between. Supporting. Believing. Showing up. So, Olivia began, her voice steady. I once dumped 12 glasses of champagne on a billionaire. This is that story. The crowd laughed. She launched into her routine. The Sterling Hotel. The disaster. The man who'd looked lonely in a room full of people. She talked about class differences and chance encounters and how sometimes the universe's sense of humor actually worked in your favor. Julian laughed like he'd never heard the story before. Like he wasn't living it. Like she was the funniest person alive. When she finished, the applause was thunder. Real. Earned. Backstage, Julian wrapped her in his arms. You killed. I did, didn't I? I'm so proud of you. I'm pretty proud of me too. She kissed him. Thank you. For believing I could do this. You did this. I just got to watch. They walked out into the New York night. The city glittered around them. Endless. Unforgiving. Full of possibility. I love you, Julian said as they stood on the corner waiting for the light to change. I love you too. Olivia leaned into him. Even though you're still kind of a mess. Even though you still have $17 in your checking account. Actually, it's up to 43 now. I'm basically rich. He laughed. That beautiful, genuine laugh she'd fought so hard to protect. They crossed the street together. 2 broken people who'd somehow found each other in the chaos. 2 survivors who'd chosen love over safety. 2 souls who'd learned that sometimes the worst disasters led to the best stories. Behind them, the city lights reflected in puddles from an earlier rain. Everything looked like it was glowing. Like magic. Like champagne catching the light. Like hope. The end.